Warning. The following video is not intended for an audience under the age of 13. Do not watch the video without a guardian or parent present. That is all.
Rumble is red, Frenzy is blue, and today I have a LEGO tutorial for you. Hey guys, it's Firebite27 here today, and we have something a little different for my general standards of content. We have a tutorial video on how to build those LEGO arcade cabinets I showed you back in episode 37. So, sit back, relax, grab some bricks, and let's get going! As shown here, the average Legends class figure post-Thrilling 30 is around 10 LEGO bricks tall. This is displayed most prominently with Beachcomber on the left and Bumblebee on the right. Now, if we introduce the Jungle O's arcade cabinet that I built here for the Legends scale, we will notice that it is about 12 blocks tall, making it almost the perfect scale for the Transformer in question. But the process of building it is admittedly a little difficult. And for those of you who are wondering, other models are available. Now then, the building tutorial in this video will be merely for the singular gray arcade cabinet, as I feel that the Jungle O's arcade cabinet is similar enough that it doesn't need its own tutorial. Now then, there are two types of bases you can build for your arcade machine. However, which of the two bases you ultimately end up choosing to make is up to you and doesn't matter, as all your base will belong to us. And we're going to have to build them in layers. So, obviously, seeing as how this is the start of building it, we're going to start with the base layer of bricks. Now then, there are two types of layouts you can use. So as you can see here, the first setup you can use requires two 2x2 bricks and two 2x6 bricks. Or if you'd like, you could also use another 2x6 brick to sort of like close up the gap in case if you ever decide to knock over the arcade cabinet when you're displaying it. Your choice, man, but I don't plan on doing that. And there's a second setup you can use. The second setup requires four 2x4 bricks, as you can see here. It requires them to be going in a spiral pattern, so to speak. Now, in order to successfully build a solid arcade machine, you're going to need to repeat these layers about 5 times. Now then, in order to successfully build the bottom half of the... in order to successfully build the bottom half of the arcade machine, you're going to need to do this process about 5 times. Basically repeat one or both of the 2 layers I just showed you about 5 times. I feel that it's also important that my audience know that it is okay if you leave gaps showing from the back. In my opinion, it's fine if you leave gaps in the back of the arcade machine, mostly because you might not be displaying it from that angle. Though if you are, gaps in the back will look a little unsightly. Like I said earlier, it's fine if you leave a gap so long as you aren't displaying the arcade machine from the angle that best shows off that gap. Just for time's sake, I have built the remaining 2 layers and also put on our next step. That is making sure that this 6x6 area up here is covered with a tile of some manner. Not a smooth tile, but the tile with studs, because of the next bit of our build. Now then, the area on top of this 6x6 area leaves us with a few options. You can leave it like smooth, straight-edged bricks like I did with the Jungle O's cabinet, or you could also use slanted bricks like this. You're going to want to make sure that this part is also 5 bricks tall. And you'll definitely want to make sure that it's shaped like this, having a 1 block wide frame that runs all around the bottom down here. Now then, before we can plug this piece on top, we'll of course need to make our screen. There are several combinations of bricks you can use to attach the screen display. You can use these 2x1s, this 2x4, this 2x4, or this 2x4 with another 2x4 end on the back. I do not recommend using the blue one, as that will make your arcade a bit deeper than it needs to be. If you're making one of those arcade machines that has the guns that you use to shoot zombies, you're going to want to make the arcade cabinet base about 8x6. However, keep all the other dimensions the same. Now then, the bricks that go behind the screen aren't really important, so I'm just going to use this setup. You're going to want to make sure that the screen at least fits snugly against the roof so you don't have a massive gap. So what I'm going to do in this case is take this piece, then I'm going to take this to sort of like cover it over, then I'm going to take 2 colored tiles. Now then, if you're into filming like me, you're going to want to make sure that these tiles are the exact same color. Now then, you're going to want to make sure that these tiles are the exact same colors. Mostly so in case if you decide to like do a filming trick and do green / blue screen with them, it's all one solid color and you don't have to worry about like changing it or photoshopping it further. However, one thing you do want to make sure is that you have no bricks on the arcade machine itself that have the same color as the screen. Otherwise, the arcade console is going to show bits of whatever clip you're blue screening into it. Now then, for proper scale, put 1 regular brick over the top of your screen area. This makes sure that it actually stands taller than your Legends minifigures and doesn't like look super awkward next to them. But now that we have the base arcade machine out of the way, we can finally move on to the main star of my arcade, the Jungle O's themed arcade cabinet. Now then, the building process for this one is virtually identical. Now then, the only differences between the previous arcade cabinet I built and this arcade cabinet is the aesthetics. And the fact that, well, I put a bit more work into it. And the fact that I used a smooth set of blocks here instead of the angular ridges. Now, in order to get this cool effect here on the bottom, what you're going to want to do is go in between every layer of normal bricks and put a solid colors layer of those 1/3 tile bricks. You see here we've got red for Taka, yellow for Tora, and green for Bata. Tato ba. Now then, here's how I built the sign for the Jungle O's arcade machine. I took 2 of these curved ridge pieces and attached them together using this 1x2 brick tile. Then I took one of these 1x2 tiles with the clips on the end and built this assembly out of 2x2s, as well as used this piece with the ridge of studs at the top. You attach the clip here, then you take this little piece that you just built and put it on here. And I built an identical assembly for the other side, took 2 of these bricks, I'm not sure what they're called, but then I put them on here, basically had them facing towards each other. Then for the sign, I took a black 2x6, attached a red 2x2 up here, a yellow 2x2 down here, and a green 2x2 down here. Then I just attached them using the studs that were exposed by these side clips. And when building the top of the Jungle O's machine, I left this 2x2 area with studs on it here so I could attach the sign. Now then, as you will note, I did put a bit more work into the Jungle O's cabinet than I did into the other cabinet, and that's because I actually had an idea of what I wanted to do with this, and I didn't really have an idea of what I wanted to do with the other arcade cabinet. You will notice that I took a bit more time to explain the other arcade cabinet than I did to explain this arcade cabinet, and that's because if I went over the process of building this one, then it would be a lot of the same old as the other arcade cabinet. But yes, as I've said before, this arcade cabinet scales well with both Legends figures, Lego Mixels, Matoran, action figures from the Ben 10 reboot. However, it does not scale well with my Rider Kicks series figures. If you guys want to build this at any point, please do, and also share photos with me. And whatever you do, do not listen to any AFOLs who say, "No, that's not the way this should be done." There really isn't a wrong way to play with Legos when you think about it. I mean, unless if you're hitting your siblings with them or whatever, just don't use them as weapons is all I'm saying. But like I said, the version I showed you how to build in this video is just a template. You guys can go crazy with it. Build whatever you want. Add whatever nonsense you feel is appropriate for the set. Don't be afraid to experiment with new color combinations. And while you're at it, why not add stickers to the sides of them to act like detailing from like the Pac-Man arcade machine, or any arcade machine really. But with that being said, I'm afraid that this episode must now come to a close. This is Firebyte 27, over and out, and reminding you to never stop indulging your creativity.